Hey, this is ThinkerThunker. Welcome to the Whoop Project, where people submit to me their encounters along with the recordings they've made, and then using spectral analysis software, I go in and determine whether or not they just recorded some known species, or was it possibly a human hoax, or was it the real deal? Now, right now, this video was filmed in Colton, Oregon, pretty squatchy territory up there, and something's got this dog all worked up. Something is up there on that ridge, making some racket. So let's go check this thing out and see what we're dealing with. Here we go. Okay, let's take a quick look at the report Jaden submitted. Happened on 11/24/2024, so fairly recent. 4:11 p.m., Colton, Oregon. Recorded on an iPhone, overcast day, out walking dog. Here, in his own words, my dad was walking our dog on some family property when Beast, our dog, suddenly hid behind a bush and refused to move. My dad then noticed the strange howling and started to record. Way to go, Dad, Jaden's dad, for doing that. And they guessed that it was about the vocalizations were coming 100 yards away. When you see your animals behave this way, especially hunting dogs that are used to being in the outdoors, around other wild animals, when they are essentially just trying to dig a hole and hide themselves, you know something is up. You know something is out there, because these animals know how to behave when a top alpha predator is in the area. If you read my first book, How to Find and Film a Bigfoot, you read about an encounter I had where some friends and I were camping. We had a pack of trained killers with us, hunting dogs that were used to fighting raccoons, bobcats, coyotes, anything, come what may. They would take it on. And yet something came up on our camp one night and stayed there till sun came up that put the fear of God in those dogs. So listen and watch your animals. Now, here is the actual spectral analysis view of that entire recording. Black is pretty much the absence of sound. Blue is generally, like, say, ambient background noise, leaves, crickets, birds chirping, things like that. And it's this orange stuff that we want. Now, this orange stuff,
Beast.
That's the guy talking to his dog, Beast. And here, let's have a listen. There are the yelps. And if we look down here, those are pretty faint. And if we look down here, we see that they're getting a little brighter, a little more intense, which tells me whatever it was up there was getting a little closer to them. So here's what I did. I took these 5 best, clearest vocalizations from the recording and cleaned them up and enhanced them as much as I could, getting as much of the noise out of them as I could. Have a listen. So to my ear, this sounds like a dog, a hunting dog, something that bays. But sounding like, or sounds like, proves nothing. The question is, does it look like a dog vocalization? So let's start with a beagle. I'm going to drop a beagle in right there. Have a listen. And now let's listen to some back to back. So the beagle, wrong pitch, way up too high in pitch, and also it doesn't look a thing like these long, straight vocalizations here. So we can mark beagle off the list. Now let's go up in size from the beagle and drop in a basset hound. Let's have a listen to that. Who wouldn't love to have a next door neighbor with basset hounds in there doing that night and day? It would be sheer heaven. So look, we can see that the sonic fingerprint is entirely different. First, basset hounds start way up here at this pitch, which is fairly similar to this, but then it drops, it falls way down to a much lower pitch. So the sonic fingerprint is entirely wrong on the basset hound. However, if we listen to the two, So the timbre, the tone of the bark, the howl, the vocalization is getting a little closer. Now let's bring in the heavyweight of the baying hounds, the Bloodhound. Now already we see that the Bloodhound's sonic fingerprint, here, let's have a listen. You gotta love that. It's fairly flat in appearance. So it has a similar sonic fingerprint to whatever this is. So now let's listen, have a little comparison. Okay, so we hear this fevered pitch the Bloodhound gets into. I mean, he really, or she really means what it's saying. Have a listen again. So it's a much more throatier kind of tense sound versus this, which is more of a kind of a casual barking, baying, yelp type sound. So in appearance, the sonic fingerprint is similar with the Bloodhound, and the timbre, listen again. Close, but still no cigar. Now let's try this kind of comet-looking howl from today's recording and compare that. Here we go. So again, similar sonic fingerprint and similar timbre and qualities, but not a perfect match. And if we look closely at the Bloodhound, we see it oscillates. The sound kind of modulates up and down in pitch. Goes up there, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas whatever this thing is, it just kind of hits that note, woo, and holds it. So entirely different characteristics. Close, yet too different to be a perfect match. Okay, we're getting down to the end here. This is a dog that I grew up around. This is a blue tick coonhound. Have a listen. So look at that. Fairly flat sonic fingerprint there, just like this. No, so now have a listen to both. So the appearance, the sonic fingerprint between these two is at least similar, apart from the blue tick having all of this up and down oscillation, which this guy does not have. And also the timbre of the two vocalizations is similar, and they're pretty close to the same frequency, but that of course could change based on the individual. And so now check this out. This is the closest match I could find, and it happens to be from a unknown species. This is my Hall of Fame mystery vocalizations that I've been cleaning and archiving and enhancing for years now. Have a quick listen. All of these share this same just bored, flat vocalization or sonic fingerprint with no variance in pitch. So I'm going to take this very first one here, and now I'm going to drop it in on a one-to-one comparison. Right here is one of today's mystery howls from Colton, Oregon. All I did there was just put a little reverb on it. And here is one of my Hall of Fame mystery vocalizations. So now let's listen to these two back to back. And here I'll get rid of a little of this out on the end. Now I'm going to just let this loop for a second. So look at that. Virtually the exact same sonic fingerprint. Bored straight vocalizations, which you just don't find in nature. With no variance in pitch at all. Both on pretty much the exact same frequency, pretty much the same length. And again, the only thing I did was add just a little reverb to this one to make it sound. Let's listen to them again. So, sonic fingerprints match. Timbre match. The pitch level matches. So, Jaden's dad knocked one out of the park. Great catch. So, our Colton Oregon Bigfoot, posted by Jaden Erickson, we found a match for this thing, an unknown species. It came close to a dog's yelp or baying type sound, but if the sonic fingerprints, if those don't match up, then it doesn't matter if it sounds like it. Sounds like is meaningless now that we can look and compare vocalizations like their fingerprints. So to Jaden Erickson and his dad for recording this, way to go, guys. This was a great find. Now you need to gear up. Now you need to have something better out there than a cell phone. You need a recorder that can really get us a high quality recording. And you guys might need a few trail cams around and a good camera, because you definitely had a visitor there. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I think this was an amazing video, an amazing find. Again, congratulations, Jaden Erickson and Dad. Special thanks, as always, to the only supporters I have for my Whoop project and this channel, which would be my patrons and my YouTube members for my ThinkerThunker channel. You guys, I appreciate all of your support so very much. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. And again, if you've had an encounter, if you're hearing these bizarre vocalizations, gear up. I'll have links down below. Get out there, be as safe as you can. Don't go alone. Record it and submit all that information to me. All right, everybody. Take care.